All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're cutting through the noise to talk about what actually works when it comes to strategic projects. We're going to break down the 7 pillars that really separate the projects that succeed from the ones that just stall out. But let's start with a feeling I'm sure you know well. You've got it all, right? The certified project manager, the shiniest new software, a calendar packed with meetings. So why does it still feel like your most important projects are just drifting? Or even worse, heading straight for the rocks?
Well, here's the simple, tough answer. It's because we're all trapped by these unwritten rules, these myths, that create a ton of activity, but absolutely kill real progress. So it's time to swap out those myths for principles that actually deliver.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning with the first 3 pillars. Think of these as the foundation for everything. If you get this part right, you've set a clear, solid direction for the entire project.
It all kicks off with Pillar 1, Leader's Intent. And this is all about one thing, making sure every single person on the team gets the why. Not just what they're doing, but why it matters.
But hold on, doesn't having a certified PM take care of that? I mean, that's the common thinking, right? The myth is that a certification automatically makes you a leader. But is a piece of paper really enough to guide a team through the messy, real-world problems? No, it's not. And that's what Leader's Intent is all about. It totally reframes leadership. See, when the why is crystal clear, anyone, and I mean anyone on the team, can make smart, aligned decisions. Leadership stops being a title and starts being a shared behavior. So, here's your action. Go ask your sponsor why, and keep asking until you can explain it simply. Then, share that with your team over and over again. Now that leads us right into our second pillar, define done. It sounds so basic, I know, but you'd be amazed how many projects start to fall apart because nobody has the same picture of the finish line.
And what does success even look like, really? This brings up a really dangerous myth, that a green status report means the project is a success. We've all seen it, a project that's perfectly on track, but is on track to deliver absolutely zero value.
Yeah, that's the exact trap we have to avoid. A clear definition of done isn't about creating more red tape or paperwork. It's a tool for getting everyone on the same page. It's a rock-solid agreement on the target. So here's what you do. Before your next milestone, get the team together and ask, are we all still aligned on what done actually looks like? Okay, the final piece of our foundation is Pillar 3, SMART objectives. This is how we take that big picture why and turn it into focused, measurable work that people can actually tackle. And this one's a huge hurdle because our work culture is obsessed with the myth that being busy means you're making progress. You know the scene. Calendars are a mess of back-to-back meetings. Everyone's running around. But is any of it actually moving the needle closer to done? SMART objectives are the filter for all that noise. They force you to connect the why to the what, which is way more important than just being busy. So here's a challenge for you. Find one fuzzy, vague goal in your project plan and make it specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Seriously, do it today. All right, so with a clear direction set, we now need an engine to actually drive us there. These next 3 pillars are all about execution, turning those solid plans into real coordinated action. Pillar 4 is all about creating functional org structures. And that's just a straightforward way of saying you organize people by their skills so they can work from a position of strength, not confusion. But this is where the term cross-functional gets twisted into a myth. People think it means it's a total free-for-all where everyone just does a little bit of everything. And what does that create? Chaos, dropped balls, and absolutely no accountability. That's exactly the chaos we need to avoid. A good structure isn't about building silos. It's about having crystal clear roles. It turns collaboration into coordinated strength. So your action here is simple. Map out your key deliverables and confirm, by name, who is responsible for each one. Just end the ambiguity. Building on that structure, we get to Pillar 5, practical resource coordination. This is the art and science of getting the right people with the right skills and the right tools, all available at the exact right time. But what do managers always want to do when a project is late? They fall for the myth, just throw more people at it. Look, 9 women can't have a baby in 1 month. Adding more people just adds more communication lines, more overhead, and frankly, more confusion. So instead of just throwing bodies at a problem, we need a smarter way. There's a really simple, practical checklist you can use to make sure you're asking for the right resources. It's an acronym called CSLT.
Before you ask for anyone, just run it through this quick filter. Do they have the right capability? Is this the right size team? Are they actually available? Are they in the right location at the right time? And are they the right type of resource? See? It shifts the whole conversation from we need more people to we need the right people. Your action: go review your current resource plan against this checklist.
The last pillar of our execution engine is right-sized communication. And notice the word right-sized. This is not about more communication. It's about better, more intentional communication that actually keeps people aligned without drowning them in noise. And this brings us to a really popular modern myth that in an agile world, you don't need project managers because the team just self-organizes. But what happens when you have 3, 4, or 5 teams that all need to coordinate? Or when a huge risk needs to get to leadership fast? The reality is, good communication is leadership in motion. It doesn't just go away in an agile setup. It becomes even more critical. So here's a powerful and maybe freeing action for you. Audit your team's calendar this week. For every single meeting, ask, does this create real value? And if the answer is no, cancel it. Okay, we've set our direction, we've built the engine. Now for the final and maybe most overlooked phase, the landing. This last pillar is what makes sure our project's impact actually sticks around long after we've moved on. Pillar 7 is all about efficient and definitive handoffs. Let me be clear. A project is not done when you go live. It's done when the solution is successfully transitioned to the business and they can actually sustain it. But that's not what usually happens, is it? The prevailing myth is that the job's done at go live. The project launches, the team celebrates, everyone scatters, and the people who actually have to use the thing are left to figure it all out on their own. That is a recipe for long-term failure. This pillar makes us reframe success not as a single event, but as a long-term outcome. And you have to plan for that handoff early. So here's a really simple but critical action. Go to your project plan right now and add a task to create a handoff checklist. So there you have it. That's the whole framework. We started by setting a clear direction with intent and goals. Then we built the engine for execution with the right people and the right communication. And finally, we stuck the landing to make sure the value lasts. Look, this isn't just another methodology to memorize. It's a real shift in thinking. It's about consciously moving away from those common myths that just create busy work, and instead anchoring every single thing we do in the pillars that produce real, exceptional outcomes. And that leaves us with one essential question to take back to your team. The path from a great strategy to a great result isn't about finding some magic software. It's about asking better questions, having the guts to challenge old myths, and then deliberately putting these 7 pillars into practice.